Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and Merry Christmas! This is Bridging the Gap, the only podcast where we talk about all things spiritual, paranormal, and, you guessed it, tried to bridge the gap between them. This is Bishop Darren Martell, alongside my brother and fellow spiritual warrior, Mr. Brennan Vesey, and my wonderful fiancée for the first segment here, Miss Kayla.
Hi.
Also a member of Elite Vixen Paranormal.
Yes.
So we are here. It's December 23rd, and we are less than 2 days away from, in the Christian realm, the most one of the two most sacred celebrations in the nativity of the Lord Jesus Christ into this world. Nativity in Bethlehem, the Christmas season, the Christmas day.
In the Martell household, also known as Gabriel's first Christmas.
Gabriel's first Christmas. One of the three most celebrated.
Now, this is not the topic for the night, but you mentioned the nativity, and first question popped in my mind because there's been some debate among scholars that Jesus was born actually in a cave and not at a manger, but
there's so much speculation as to where he was born.
Yes.
At this point, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna find out when I get to heaven.
That's the thing. Nobody knows who, where, what, when. We just know that he was born. He was here on Earth. And
well, there are a lot of accounts, especially in the Gospel. There are corroborating accounts from multiple, multiple books in of the Gospel that say that Jesus, it was no room in the inn, of course.
Right.
So he was born in a stable / area like that. So,
right.
But yeah, it's definitely it's Christmas time. We're almost to that big holiday. A lot of people are waiting on Mr. Santa Claus.
We are holly, we are jolly, and speaking of Mr. Santa Claus, he is a topic for tonight.
He is our final topic tonight. Saint Nicholas Santa Claus. Well, Santa Claus kind of spawned off of Saint Nicholas and his good deeds. But we'll get to talking about him a little later. But for this first segment, we want to kind of bridge the gap already and go ahead and get things started on the paranormal kind of aspect and spiritual and supernatural realm. The veil.
Yes.
The veil that separates the natural world from the spirit world.
Or from the living or from the dead, or however you want to...
however you want to put it.
Right.
That this goes back thousands of years documented, from what research and reading, the pagans, and not just that, but like the Celts, during, especially during Samhain, they would dress up as spirits so they could blend in with the spirits.
And that way you don't get, confused, to confuse the spirits, that we don't get, dragged away.
Because on that night, that veil would be so thin that spirits could just cross right over and walk among the living.
And there's a lot of, theory, speculations, if you will, with the increase of activities, investigations, and so forth. A lot of people think that now the veil is getting thinner and thinner.
Yeah. And
that with the celebration of, the spiritual Halloween, holidays like Halloween, Samhain, Christmas, those holidays, especially all in the same time frame, 3-4 months time frame, that veil is...
It's rapidly, thinning out.
Right.
Now, personally, Kayla, on from your perspective, have you felt, because I consider, you've been considered an empath, have you felt a thinning of said veil? I mean, do you feel any sort of, any more energy a certain type of the year, or...
No.
No, so it's just basically...
But that's just me. I think... I've also been told that because I'm sort of empathic, I've learned to kind of block off certain things, so I don't really pick up on a lot of stuff.
I gotta do better with that because me being a massage therapist, so many times after work I get done, I'm in a rage. I'm like, why am I mad? And I'm like, oh yeah, I massage this person, that person. They got this going on, and I pick up their...
Well, question for both of you two, and I'll be the same question, but I'll start with you, Kayla, is do you feel like, there's a lot of, opinion and speculation and theory that on certain days of the year, like Halloween, the veil is, of course, thinner? Do you think there's a merit of truth to that? Or, like you said, do you feel like it may be more towards how you feel, and that it could just be sporadic here or there, no particular day?
I mean, I tend to lean towards, believing that there might be some truth to it, just because I think part of me wants to.
Yeah.
Just because it's part of our, legend and lore. And so it's more fun and
Well, the fact that it's
spooky to think of it that way.
It's transferred not from just like one legend, but it's gone from multiple, from the Celts all the way up to.
Well, and it's also very, very deeply entwined with like nature and the cycles of the seasons and stuff. And I think that can be a very powerful thing.
What about you? Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, because like I briefly mentioned before, I mean, you have Halloween, Samhain, Day of the Dead, All Souls Day, All Saints Day.
The nights are getting longer.
Right. And we just have winter solstice, And
well, that begs the question too. With the nights getting longer, I mean, there's also a lot of theories that spirits only really manifest per se when it's dark. I think that's complete hogwash.
It is. It kind of. I feel like it probably stems from back when darkness equaled death and fire equaled survival.
Right.
And so any kind of... The darkness obviously was
and
dangerous.
Just spookier,
and spookier
at night,
And so the veil and the spirits were more, were stronger. And
so you have to, also wonder with entities and everything, this kind of squeezes on the realm of intelligent or
right.
Intelligent entities. But what do they think? What do intelligent?
They're probably shaking their head at us like these fools. Why?
If the veil is so thin, what are they thinking to themselves? It's okay, well, is it so easy as I think now is a good time for me to use some energy over here to kind of creep back into the natural to see what's going on.
If there is a thinning of a veil, I feel like that probably means it requires less energy on their part, which means they probably doesn't require much. They probably don't have to
do you think it's a conscious decision though?
Probably not.
It's more energy than anything, because like I said before, energy does not stop. It's not break. It just changes from one state to another.
Don't get me wrong. I know that these spirits. They're not of this earth. So saying a conscious decision, it really doesn't apply there. But is it something intelligent that they could be like, tonight's the night I would like?
I don't think so.
How do you think that works then?
I think it probably is just a natural phenomenon that they probably can't control any more than we can.
So it's like one day they end up like, wow, how did I get here?
Maybe there's just I don't think it's as black or white. I think maybe there's just more of a connection between
maybe like an energy just like drags
us.
Yeah, okay, I get
during
that
time.
Let me ask you a question for you two, because I've known my mom has reached out to me in different dreams. I didn't see her, but I definitely felt her energy.
Sure.
Have y'all done the same thing with? Has your parents reached out to you?
I feel definitely. Not just in just dreams,
right?
But I'll give you a perfect example. Once mom passed away back in 2018, that next day, after we went up to see her, less than 24 hours, I was going to visit the graveside of one of the leaders of the fraternity I was part of in college, and as soon as I got to the gravestone, a cardinal, which if you know the lore behind that, cardinals symbolize a loved one who has passed on coming back to offer reassurance that they are okay. Well, at least that's what I feel.
Right.
It's like mom came back that day to say, hey, look, I'm fine.
I can't dispute it.
But there was also the instance recently where our son was crying, and all of a sudden he started laughing in his sleep. And it kind of shook me awake, and I didn't know what was going on. And as I look over, I see... I'm not going to say an apparition or a mist or a shadow, but it was an anomaly that was definitely kind of blurring out, a regular line of sight. And it looked like he was bending over the crib as he was laughing. And, I may have just been matrixing or trying to, make things up or make it seem like this is what it was, because I do miss my father who has passed away. Right. But it was around his height level that I remember him being at. So it could have been him. I do think at other times that the presence has been made. It's kind of like, hey, I'm around here. Now, she had an experience this past Christmas. Last year, almost to the day. It would be a year tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Do you want to tell that story, or do you want me to?
Yeah, no, we were leaving your sister's house. Your dad was actually with us at the time.
Yeah,
he was in the back seat. We were all getting in the car, and I've never taken my dad out of my cell phone, like his phone number or anything. Right. But I also I didn't have Siri activated on my phone at the time, to where you could be like, hey Siri,
Right.
There's an option to do that for iPhones. But for some reason, and I don't even know if we were saying anything to each other except for maybe our goodbyes to your sister. But when we got in the car, my phone was dialing my dad.
It said
It said, "Okay, calling Mark Cormier," and we have no idea how or why that my phone decided to
on Christmas, nonetheless.
On Christmas
so
Eve, call my
that's
dad.
the thing, because people always want to associate the vote with Halloween, but Christmas is just as high with spiritual activity,
well, any
if
sort
not more.
of anniversary date of like the passing of a loved one, like your father. Unfortunately, passed away right after Christmas, right into the New Year, early on.
That's honestly the only time I've ever felt like that. Maybe there was any sort of like reaching out, though. Otherwise, I don't feel like I've ever really been visited by him, and I think that probably, I think we've actually. I don't know if you were part of this conversation with Audrey or not, but our therapist and I've had a conversation one time about how they won't really visit you unless you're ready.
I can understand. And that kind of goes back and begs the question, is there such thing as a quote-unquote conscious decision on their part? If you're ready, they're going to have to know when's the perfect time
but then
to come
that also begs the question of, can they only visit when there's a weakening of a veil, or can they send messages? Can they visit through dreams? Can they do stuff like that on any old day?
Perhaps maybe with the weakening of the veil, if the veil's particularly thin on a certain night, they're able to send a stronger message. Maybe like what I saw with Dad.
Or like a phone call,
Yeah, but when it's, it's not particularly thin.
It might be a dream.
Yeah.
Well,
See, that's interesting.
And for me, it goes back to God's will. Because it's God's will, yes, but it's more than that. Because if you believe in the Bible, a lot of people say when you die, you're either asleep, waiting to ascend with Jesus when he comes back around, or you're already in heaven and hell. And once you're over there, there's no reaching out. Yeah. But I mean, who all here has dealt with paranormal, which is why we're here. Mm-hmm. A lot of people think what we're doing with our angels and demons in disguise pretend to be loved ones. I mean, we can't say for sure one way or another. All I can say is we have experience that we can't explain, which is why we're here. My last, I know I explained the dream of I had back at my old house. But the recent dream was maybe a month or two ago. I was dreaming. I was at a paranormal convention in this dream, and I was outside with some particular people I know, and then all of a sudden I'm in this room with this very old Macintosh computer, this old 80s computer, but apparently this computer was modified to speak with the dead. Yeah. And this message came through, says Jesus loves you. Okay, well, cool message. Okay, well, who's saying this? Then I got Mom.
Boom. I mean, that's...
I was like... And I wasn't even expecting it. I mean, maybe subconsciously, but nothing outwardly.
I mean, that holds merit.
The only thing that bothers me with dreams is I never know if it's truly some sort of message or if it's just my subconscious, because most of my dreams about my dad have been some sort of reliving of the trauma,
a moment, or
But there's been a lot of dreams I've had too, especially in the later years, of where he's just. Life is normal. It's the way it is now. We have our son and everything, but my dad is just there in the scene with us.
A lot of people say that a lot of your dreams are reflective on what you've been thinking out throughout the day.
But maybe,
that's the thing, though. I've had dreams about my parents where I hadn't that whole day. I hadn't really given that thought. So I mean that.
Well, but your dreams are a part of your subconscious, so you're not going to be aware of the thoughts that you have. But
you were talking about with the Christian faith, how a lot of people believe that once you're dead, that's it, or once you're dead, you're asleep until you ascend with Christ. We're in the Catholic Church, in the Roman Rite at least, in the Roman Catholic Church, they believe purgatory. They believe that whatever sins you haven't atoned for, you will have to face. I mean, it's not hell, but you're going to have to kind of cleanse yourself of those before you enter the gates of heaven.
And, me being a non-Catholic, there's so much stuff with the Catholic faith that I can actually identify with. Yeah. Purgatory is one of them because, there's people like Hitler. We all know where Hitler's at. Or even Charles Manson. But there's people, with small quote unquote crimes who are we're not, the judge in the situation. We can't say, yeah, they're going to hell for something this small.
I fully believe that there are some murderers who are in heaven because they fully repented.
And on the flip side of that, there's priests in hell because of something they've done. I mean,
like the hidden lifestyles.
Let's suppose here
Tap the brakes a little bit.
that even Hitler or Marilyn Manson.
Oh, come on!
Charles Manson.
That was a Freudian slip.
I thought you said Marilyn Monroe. Like, what'd she do?
No.
Well, what didn't she do?
Whoa.
That, I'm sorry.
That's pretty judgy.
I'm clergy.
Man.
I can't say that. I'm sorry.
That's pretty judgy. Yeah.
It's been a long day. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Anyway, no. Let's just suppose that Hitler didn't have evil intent. Let's suppose that he thought he was doing God's work. Would he go to heaven or would he go to hell? Now, obviously, if he knew what he was doing was evil and he was like, I just want to kill everyone.
Here's the easy answer to this.
Obviously,
he will go to hell because the one of the main commandments, thou shalt not kill.
But did he directly kill
Two
anyone?
words.
Thou shalt not kill.
But did he directly kill anyone?
2 words.
Did he?
Yes.
Directly.
Like you mean pointing the gun at somebody?
Yeah, did he
I'm sure Adolf Hitler pointed the gun at somebody and fired.
At least,
just because you're sure doesn't mean
You're right.
2 words. Jim Jones.
Yeah, Reverend Jim Jones and the Kool-Aid.
That's all I'm saying.
But
he didn't actually kill anyone either.
Yes,
I don't
directly.
think heaven has the U.S. justice system here, sweetheart. When it comes to he directly or indirectly, Hitler caused
God
the death.
was very, very big on semantics.
Adolf Hitler caused the death of over 6 million.
He did, but what
of
if
his chosen people?
But what if he thought he was doing something pure?
He still went against the commandments. Thou shalt not kill.
But he didn't kill.
Thou shalt not bear false witness. That's false witness. That's.
But then you have to go back to okay, so minor versus major. Since if he didn't actually have this evil intent or
did he do it for the glory of God? He never once mentioned God.
No,
in any of his speeches.
We're not obviously Hitler is a horrible evil man.
Well, yeah, no one's questioning your intent here.
But let's just say
we're gonna go long here, folks. So yeah, go ahead.
If he did think he was doing something pure, would that be enough to qualify him maybe to purgatory versus hell?
No, not at all.
No?
Because he never
So intent doesn't matter?
No, I mean, because at the end of the day...
Is that the voice of God speaking through
No, that's my voice, because I could be totally wrong, but we're sharing opinions here, aren't we? Basically, the idea... God, this has gone overboard.
We're going to take a quick break to calm down, and we're going to come back to this topic before the next topic.
Yeah, we're going to do it. So we're going to go ahead and take our break here.
Hang tight.
Stay tuned. This is Bridging the Gap. We'll be right back. And we are back here on Bridging the Gap. The only
Round two!
The only podcast that talks about all things spiritual, paranormal, and you guessed it, bridging the gap between them. Bishop Darren Martell here alongside my brother and spiritual warrior, Mr. Brendan Vesey, and the wonderful, wonderful fiancé of mine who loves to argue with me.
For this episode, so here we go.
But, we were talking during the break that, it's always awesome to have your opinion on here because it is differing. And it's not just you and I going back agreeing with each other. And it's when you have that kind of opinion, it makes me think more. Instead of just being here being like, oh, here's my opinion.
You're typical
I'm so glad you agree with my opinion.
We just agree with each other. The Mutual Admiration Society.
So we're going back to the sheet. You posed a really good notion here. Even though Adolf Hitler was the cause behind the death, the
The
genocide, the
6 million
annihilation
people.
of 6 million of, as a lot of people see it, God's chosen people, the Jewish people. Not just Jewish people, but Catholics, homosexuals, you name it. If the Germans didn't agree with you then, you were going to a concentration
in all
camp.
fairness, there's been death in the name of Jesus by so many people. We
Or in
got
the name
time.
of any god. That's what a lot of jihads are.
Right.
In the
But that's another topic.
and for another day. But you posed a really interesting notion: is if Hitler in his mind,
Does intent matter?
does intent matter when it comes to salvation? When it comes to how much blood is on his hands that he showed no remorse for, because correct me. Somebody try to find this. There's no account of Hitler saying, "I'm so sorry for doing this."
Well, because he killed himself immediately after.
It's suicide's a sin no matter what.
That's a moral
is
sin
that,
by
is that
itself.
also possibly a sign of remorse?
No, I think that was a sign of. Well, again, this is all I think, an opinion, but
Right.
I think
it's absolutely just a cowardly way to
it's
get out of paying for your
complete
crimes.
cowardice.
But what if it was some sort of like,
and it's just a great topic of suicide. I'm not gonna get big on suicide right now. That's another day.
Yeah.
But it's like suicide is a sin. But what if that like Robin Williams? We know he was medically he was depressed.
Suicide is a very, very. It's a wishy-washy.
It really is.
Like a subject.
Honestly, I think it was declared a sin to discourage people from doing it.
Well, it was the Catholic Church. It was the Catholic. They considered a mortal sin because it's like, let's talk about abortion. It's like abortion. They think that is a
But
then
then
mortal sin
again,
as
if
well.
you're under control of a demon, whether it be mental or depression, whatever, are you really in control of that action? That's
Exactly.
It's,
Nobody's committing suicide going, haha, that'll show them.
right.
Yeah, that's. This is not a funny topic.
No, but
Start sinning.
Yeah, but that goes back to Judas.
They're normally people that are in extreme peril.
Yeah.
And need help.
Right.
Yeah, and that's something that.
So would it be right to persecute them for that?
Unfortunately, the Roman Catholic Church feels.
But what about God?
That's been my biggest disagreement with the Roman Catholic Church. It's been too much about what this head honcho says or what this hierarchical person says, rather than what God says.
And that's it's right, like with Robert Williams, Chris Cornell, all these individuals who were suffering from pain we don't know anything about, kept it to themselves for years, acted like nothing was wrong. And next day,
most people who commit suicide are in a position where they actually think they're doing their loved ones a favor.
Right.
Like they don't think of it as any sort of selfish way out. They think they're actually.
So that's why, and just my opinion. If anything, they're asleep. They might not be in heaven, but they're waiting for Jesus' return to go. Well, I can go with that, but I cannot see them being damned.
Well, that's the thing
for something like that. I'm sorry, I can't.
Going back to the topic of why, calling it a sin, it's gone past. It goes past the point. To the point now where a lot of denominations think of it as a giant sin, but again, that's man's law they're talking about. That's not God's law.
Right.
God's law, I feel, in denominational Christianity has went bye-bye. I think it's all about doctrine and dogma.
Right.
Look, folks, again, I'm going to reiterate the fact I'm not a Roman Catholic bishop. I'm an independent Catholic. Catholic means universal. Independent Catholic bishop. So, yeah, I don't follow the Roman Catholic doctrine or dogma here.
Right.
But, it goes to show, especially with things like suicide, or just who's in charge of saying which sins are the worst and which are venial, which are mortal. That's God's decision.
I've always wondered about that. Is doing drugs just the same as murdering somebody, or is
but you have just as many people in jail for it.
Right.
Which is completely ridiculous.
How can you compare sins?
But that's law. That's not religion.
Well, yeah, the law.
Sin is sin. We're not excusing for people what they do. Absolutely not. But at the same time, you can. It's a whole. Heal that sin, throw the first stone.
And the Roman Catholic Church too. It's about it's like giving communion to divorcees. In the Roman Catholic Church, I'm not allowed to have communion because I'm a divorcee.
You sinner.
Exactly right, but. In reality, communion is not a reward. And there was a documentary, it was The Two Popes, that was on Netflix. It portrayed Pope Francis and then Cardinal Bergoglio, saying that communion is not a reward, but it is food for the starving. Sometimes the bigger the sinner, as he said, the warmer the welcome. Sometimes a sinner needs that food because he or she is starving spiritually.
Absolutely.
And for like the church, they're all about doctrine. They're all about dogma and doctrine. Thousands of years
politics,
have said this.
money, and politics.
Exactly.
And that's why, like, I love the history of the Catholicism and what it initially stands
There's just
for.
a lot wrong with it.
Right, but with all that says, like, I can't do it because of those reasons. Now,
let's
change gears.
So something a little bit lighter.
Speaking of light, Christmas light.
Yes, 2 days ago. 2 days ago.
Which I apparently missed, but that was my fault. But
well, honestly, here in Tennessee, it wasn't that bright. Unless you had an iPhone 11 with the best possible lens, so you can get those close-up shots. As you can tell, there's some envy coming out of my voice.
That was a good Jimmy Stewart you did there.
No. Oh, they're going to see me, Gracie. No. I don't know what movie that was from.
Who is Gracie?
I don't know.
Gracie?
I don't know. I digress. I just derailed. But the Christmas star.
Is it Jupiter and Saturn lining up?
Yeah. Once in, I think it's been 800 years, they said, since the year 1200 AD, that those two planets got within 0.01% of, like, lining up completely.
Right.
So, you know, like you were saying this before, 2020 has been an awful year. It's been a bust of a year. There had to be some sort of hope.
A quick question, though.
Yeah.
Now, they say it was 800 years ago since the last time they aligned, right? Okay. Jesus was born 2,000 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So, unless they were lined up, 1,200 years before that, which is possible.
Yeah. The timeline?
Yeah, I'm not a mathematician there, but
I'm
don't
not
line
either.
up. I'm not trying to bust chops here.
I think, like you were saying, it may have been more of a symbol of hope
and,
for a year that has gone so long.
Hey, we need some hope in these days.
And I think that's perfectly fine. A lot of people, the thing that I've seen on social media and just online is people calling it the official Christmas star. This was the star. Let me be real. Scientifically, it's two planets that got 0.1% within, lining up completely with each other. So, of course, bouncing off the sun,
it's cool. It's a cool thing. I take anything away from it, but...
I mean, I'm a devout Christian and everything, and, being clergy, I mean, I have a mindset of I do see, the power that symbol.
Now, if the Blessed Mother came down from that, then I'll be...
Yeah, if we got an image of that, that'd be another Fatima right there. But that's the thing we were also talking about. We may get into this after the new year.
Okay.
But I guess the important women of Christmas. There's not many of them. But we were talking. We can actually
Well, in the Bible, you got Mary Magdalene, Virgin Mary, Martha.
But just the Christmas.
But Christmas characters, I mean...
The Blessed Mother is by far the most important.
Well, her and Mrs. Claus are the only two I can think of. So.
I wouldn't even put Mrs. Claus up there. That's,
Well...
we're not trying to do a foxy boxing thing.
No, okay. Where's your head at?
Nah, I'm tired. It's been a long day. What was that look for?
Folks, I don't know. It's, bless his heart.
The bishop's had a long day, folks. So, what? Your eyes are just wide over there.
Kayla's just grinning and nodding, and I don't blame her. I don't blame her.
But going back to the Christmas star, when I went outside to look at it, and we're every which way of right and left. Right now,
we're everywhere. That's all right. That's all right.
But going outside to look at it, I think I may have overestimated how big the star was going to be.
Well, I heard that a lot from a lot of people.
It looked like a little bit of a brighter star, but it wasn't like giant like what the eclipse looked like. With the corona around the moon.
That's cool though.
Oh yeah.
But I will say, I found the first constellation in 40 years of my life was yesterday. I was driving to the country, coming back from seeing a friend of mine, and it was a clear night. So I just pulled my car over and just kind of looked around, and I got a little app on my phone to actually see the constellations. I finally saw Orion. I've seen this belt for forever, but I finally seen Orion.
I saw Orion when I was like 8.
No,
congratulations!
I didn't have. I just don't have the imagination, or just the concept. Actually,
well, no. If you haven't been in enough
like city lights will light pollution.
So I was like, hey, this Orion, heck yeah, go me.
Yeah,
that's my car on the left.
Yeah, it's like going back to what you were saying earlier, though, with hope. A lot of people clung to.
We need hope.
December 21st, looking up. Just like a lot of people were reminded on the 21st of what the true meaning, through just maybe that planetary alignment, of what the true meaning of the Christian reason of Christmas was.
Hoopla back in 2012 that the world was supposed to end on December 21st?
Because the Mayan calendar...
Yeah, apparently...
They just stopped writing it.
That I know, but you had...
So their hand got tired.
These are the same people who thought the coronavirus vaccine had a microchip.
But here's the thing: their world ended.
Microchip.
I mean, so technically, people were right. Their world ended, but the world did not stop spinning. So
yeah, well, whoever stopped writing that calendar's world probably ended. Probably got his head cut off.
Well, there you go.
Sacrifice. Hey, you're up, and I'm not done writing.
Or he just, went to bed and forgot.
You're probably right, but I'm just trying to spice things up a little bit.
Their hand got crammed, so you know what? I'll do it later.
No. But back on topic again. But we're talking about, like, a lot of people who had kind of neglected the reason for the season and the holiday through that star were reminded, even though, again, it was the planetary alignment, that symbol of that star reminded them again why there is that sort of reverence, that solemnity, that holiness about this time of year.
And that's what I love about it, because, with that said, a lot of people decorated like weeks before Thanksgiving just to have that holiday feel.
That's what we did.
I did it, y'all did, because we want that. Because I don't care what holiday you celebrate, Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever.
Yeah.
Holidays bring out joy, peace, love, the stuff we crave all year long.
I wish I could agree that it brings out joy and peace. A lot of people want that.
As long as it's not materialized.
It's not even materialistic. I love the idea that people think that it brings out the best and that brings out joy and peace. Mm-hmm. But every year, I constantly see more and more stress and anxiety and hate and anger. When did it become... Small example, when did it become normal and natural and jolly in the season of joy to get into a fight over a game console?
Well, see, in all fairness, it's self-inflicted, and here's why. Because, we... Getting back to commercialization, it's not so much the commercialization of Christmas' problem, as that we are so influenced by everything we see, everything we hear.
Yeah.
We want the new car, the new video game, the new clothes, all this.
It's our weak minds coming out.
And, I mean, and the spirit becomes weak because, in a way, it pulls away from family, from God, our strength.
But you see, that's the thing. Again, I agree with you that, this is the time for peace and tranquility and love and welcoming and prosperity. But you're right. That's exactly that. That's the best words for it. We are, as a human race, we're so caught up in the now and the commercialization. And, the weak-mindedness of, I have to get this for my kid or else they're going to hate me.
Right.
Whereas, instead of focusing on, we should really concentrate on the now when it comes to loving our family. Because there's so much, you look on the news, you look in the newspaper, you just look around you, and I don't see that peace that we all want.
And see, they need to, because think about it. Because we see it so many times, 280,000 people have died.
So over 300 right now.
Right. So people's, this family members, this is the first Christmas that they have without that family member.
Yeah.
This is my fifth one without mom, and you've had a couple without yours. So
the third without,
Right. We're not callous. We're callous, but we're not. We understand. We have an understanding now.
From a humanistic area, I'm completely bitter. I'm bitter. This is my first Christmas without either of my parents.
Right.
And I'm. Deep down inside, humanistically, I feel pretty mad about that. I feel,
as you should.
Without, she's without her father, and our therapist, has told us several times we've been cheated. You've been cheated out of your mother.
Well, yes and no, but the thing is, because my faith, where I stand with all that, the paranormal has actually helped me with that passing, because knowing that there's another side, and knowing that she has contacted me and reached out to me, it's not a goodbye. It's just I'll see you later.
Exactly.
So, but it's there's not a day go by I wish I could talk to her, say I love you, all that. And, I still say I love you. Just I pass her a little urn. I have say I love you, Mom. And,
likewise.
And
that's that's I hate to say it like this, but it can help the soul. It can It can help
if Jesus can resurrect Lazarus after 3-4 days, there's nothing Jesus cannot do. So that when he does return and the dead does rise from the grave, then hey, you know what? We're all going up.
Amen. Amen. So let's go ahead and take our second break here, and when we come back, we're going to talk about good old Santa Claus, Saint Nick. Well, there's two different.
Well,
personas
yes and no.
there.
Yes
yeah,
and no.
the yes and no. But we'll get back into that into our third segment. So stick around. This is Bridging the Gap. We'll be right back. And we are back for our final segment here on Bridging the Gap, the only podcast that talks about all things spiritual and paranormal. And you guessed it, bridges the gap between them. Bishop Darren here alongside fellow spiritual warrior, Mr. Brendan Vesey. It's Christmas time. We are less than 2 days away from Christmas, about 1 day actually. And we got one final segment here. We're going to talk about jolly old St. Nicholas.
Yes.
And or Santa Claus. Which one?
Well, I always say they're one and the same, only because St. Nicholas had a major influence on the character of Santa Claus.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Now, St. Nicholas was a bishop, was a real person.
Yes.
Real person, and he was a patron. As a saint, what is his patronage?
There's a few here. Patron saint of children, coppers, sailors, woo, fishermen, woo.
Now, coppers is the metal, or copper, boom, boom,
No,
mafia coppers.
No, just like, I guess
The metal.
Yeah, I guess.
Wait, hold on. Let me see. That's Coopers.
Oh, okay. Well, what's a Cooper?
Not coppers.
Oh no, he does like cask and barrel, that kind of thing. So,
Okay, Coopers.
Well, and he also patron saint of brewers, so that's a plus. Pawnbrokers, pharmacists, repentant thieves, and unmarried people, and goes on from there. So
Big line of patronages there.
He's
So Saint Nicholas was a real person, a real bishop of the Catholic Church, a man who is known for his wonderful deeds, which inspired the modern day version of what we call Santa Claus. It's interesting too, because Santa Claus, he's evolved. He's evolved with the times.
Well, like at one point in time, his suit was actually green.
Yeah,
but because of Coca-Cola, wanted to promote their brand, and their
made it red,
and red is part of their brand.
Yeah,
it flipped it to red, which honestly I think red looks better on him anyways, in my opinion. But
now, and also if you read Twas the Night Before Christmas, Santa had a pipe in his mouth, and he was more like an elf,
right?
And a smaller guy too. It wasn't this giant, rotund, jolly man. But
basically, he's like larger than life because people made him that way. So.
Yeah, again, that's where it goes back to he's evolved with the times as a Christmas staple. Now the unfortunate thing is he's kind of taken over. The thought of Santa Claus has kind of taken over what we call the real meaning of what the season's about.
Right. Well, we talked about that last session.
It's kind of sad because a lot of people, when they wake up Christmas morning, it's not like let's read the nativity. It's like let's open those presents.
Well, that's the thing. Luckily, for me, because of my favorite things I've learned, I can say Santa Claus is real. When I say that, of course, I'm referring to Saint Nicholas, the thing he's done. Because one of the stories associated with him was there was a gentleman who had 3 daughters, and usually back then, at a certain age, you have to marry your daughters so be not inherited, but be part, get some land or property and things like that. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, he was unable to provide the income to help with the marriages. Yeah. So when Saint Nicholas heard this, he threw some coins through the open window at night, and which helped him with one daughter. And then Saint Nicholas heard how well it went. He did, two more
and more.
Right.
I wish he'd throw coins through my window at this point, Lord.
After the stimulus package, we need some Saint Nick.
Congress.
I'm just saying.
Congress isn't throwing any coins at us. Let's be real. All $600 is going to do for us is show us how in the hole we are.
Well, see, last time with the 1200, they made it rain. Now they just made it hell.
Exactly. But that aside from that, but going back to Saint Nick, it spawned from that good deed, from just that solitary instance, and many others.
So there's another one that I heard. I'm going to mess this up because the details are hazy with me. There was a serial killer or murderer, and going around the town. I think it was around Turkey. I think he killed these 3 kids, and Saint Nicholas was able to bring him back to life.
So, like that probably was the miracles that.
Right.
That
I'm skipping over a lot, but I'm just getting to the meat and potatoes of the story here. But.
Well, if you need a reason for canonization, that's probably what did it for him.
But then again, I mean, that's the power of God. That's the power of what he, I mean, because even St. Paul, like, even when Jesus have sinned and gone, St. Paul did the same thing. So, like, why can't,
God can bestow whatever, whatever miraculous ability.
That should resemble our faith, because the more devout, more faithful you are, the more he's going to hook you up.
Yeah.
If you don't have faith, he's not going to waste his time with you. And I'm like, hey, I mean, that should be...
I've had several instances recently and just through the years that I've relied on my faith and God has come through. Now, little things that, we pray for, during the day, like minute things like, Lord, please give me a good shift at work today.
Oh, yeah, like don't let me kill nobody on traffic. Or
stuff like that. I mean,
it's bad. I know it is.
But, when they say that God answers prayers in his own time.
Oh, he does.
That's exactly, it rings true.
And that's where where the situation comes in, where people in general are not patient.
No, Lord.
Like when we pray, we want it now.
Yeah.
And God's like, all right.
He's like, I made you and you will wait until the time is right.
He's called Father for a reason.
Well, he always makes it happen when the time is right. Unbeknownst to us, I mean, we don't know at the time that we don't really realize because of our impatience. But, getting back to jolly old Saint Nick, that's the thing, is people call him jolly old Saint Nicholas, whereas the manifestation of Santa Claus, the modernization of him too, that's not anything of what Saint Nicholas is.
That's the thing. In recent times, the last 100 years, Santa Claus has gotten so watered down. I mean,
now he's just a big, rotund man in a red suit with a beard who breaks and enters, and is a reverse burglar.
And here's the question, especially the whole gift giving thing. Say a kid has been perfect as far as attitude and everything, but mom and dad are just broke. So he wants this one toy. Mom and dad can't do it. I mean, that's where Santa Claus has. I mean, like, I love the history and the lore of Santa Claus. I do. But
all right, well, let's preface this. If there is a family listening that has children, get them out of the room now. You got 5 seconds.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But but the thing to do with that is, if you get the good presents, put them under mom and dad's name, and have Santa Claus do the shirts or stuffed animals, something mundane. Yeah. That way, mom and dad get the credit for the good gift, and Santa Claus gets well, hey, I got something from him. So
it shows that the subliminal the mindset of everyone loves giving gifts, but everyone wants to be the person who gives the best gift.
Oh God, yeah.
So that's where it could hit a bit of a snag.
And the whole pride thing.
Psychologically with people, yeah. Even right now, I mean, there are families who are like... I've had instances in my family where, on Christmas, I mean, we get each other something, but it's always been like, oh, man, it's not going to top what I got you.
Right.
Like that. And, we don't mean that in a mentally harmful way, but it just goes to show how, desensitized and how, trained we are to feel that it's a kind of a competition.
Well, it's kind of a funny thing because over the last 10 years, I can count 3 Christmases where I actually when I received presents, than not. And at first, I was kind of like, well, I wish I had some presents, but now I'm like, okay, I'm not getting anything or whatever. I don't care anymore.
I think we all grow to that phrase. We don't care about receiving gifts
because I'm to the point I got a roof over my head, I got a shirt on my back, I got food, I got people who love me. So I mean, if someone gives me a present, I'll be like, my friend might give me a shirt the other day, and I'll cherish it because it's not so much a shirt, but it's they thought about me long enough. They got me a gift. That's what I like. Okay, they actually
It's they say, it's the thought that counts.
Right. I know. A lot of people don't think that, especially kids, and I get it. They don't have the wisdom to understand that. Mm-hmm. But I'm 40 years old. I mean, now if somebody wants to pay for a bill, hey, I'm not going to turn it down. But
that just goes that we have when we grow up, our minds change, and like how you're feeling, how we're feeling as we grow. It changes from, being worried about what you're getting to being worried about if you can give. Well,
mainly because we know our time to get to crossovers soon.
Yeah, we're buying our way into heaven. No.
That whole, what do you call it? With the, we need to try to give money to the church.
Oh, the indulgence?
Yeah, that's it.
The indulgences. Good Lord, indulgences.
Gosh.
That's the time I think the Catholic Church wishes they could take away. But, in terms of, gift giving, just in general, there's certain euphoria you feel, a certain amount of dopamine that gets released
I've heard about that.
When somebody opens a gift and they're so excited, and you feel like you've done something wonderful. Whereas you can give someone a hug on Christmas Day and make them feel just as wonderful.
And that's where, when I see parents kill themselves for getting a new Xbox 5 or iPhone 11,
They think their kid will hate them if they don't.
Right, or even so, or get them, or even, say Gabriel.
Uh-huh.
If you give him a phone right now, he's going to be done with that in 2 months.
A phone, he'd chew on it.
Either way, I mean, because most kids, if you give them the toys, they're going to be done with a toy in months.
His age, at my infant son's age, right now, it's like what I told my boss at work. They're like, hey, Darren, work this extra day. I know your son wants that Xbox. And I said, listen, my son will be happy at his age to have a box. Because that kid will be more invested, and I think it's so amazing and amusing at the same time that he will be more invested in the wrapping paper and the box itself than the actual toy. Now, when you open the toy and start letting him play with it, the colors and his motor skills are developing, he'll enjoy it. And he'll grow to find it as one of his favorite and one of his least favorite toys. He'll find it nonetheless. But, as they get older, since kids are more, they're developing and they're more impressionable, they develop habits based on how you react to things. And a kid who's going to cry that he didn't get, this favorite toy on Christmas, that's just a child developing. They're all going to go through it.
Right.
But at the same time, it's up to you as parents to show them that there are other reasons to enjoy the holiday. There are other reasons, and it's hard as a kid to accept those reasons because.
And plus, things are getting expensive. One Christmas, I got 7 nieces and nephews. I give them all $20 a piece. That's $140.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, I don't think a lot of us adults really give kids credit when it comes to if we think they're going to enjoy a present or not. Because in a kid's mind, $20.
Dude,
it's a fortune.
$20 for them is $100 for us.
Yeah, a $15 gift card to one of my nieces or nephews is a gold mine.
Seriously.
They could go Phillips Toy Mart, one of my favorite places to go. You could spend $15 and get 15 really cool items in there. And it just, I don't think we give children credit enough, for enjoying the things we get them, even the little things.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, it's kind of a, two different sides of the coin on that, whereas we don't give the kids credit enough. We also have to teach them that it's okay if you don't get this particular item for Christmas. There's other reasons to be happy.
And that goes back to, it's not even the parents, teachers, preachers, aunts, uncles. People are in these kids' lives to help shape them into being understanding adults, caring and compassionate adults. I think that's the X factor, compassion. The compassion is
compassion is out of here.
Pretty much.
And we're in a society that doesn't care about feelings anymore.
No,
we're in a society that makes fun of people that need a safe space.
I'm going to pause the conversation. Okay, seriously.
There's a difference. There's a difference between people who are immature.
I got one quick comment and then we'll wrap up. When I just got out of boot camp, I was in a fleet. I was hearing stories where the boot camp had initiated a quote-unquote timeout card. Basically, if the drill sergeant is in your face, just grilling you, you hand them this timeout card, they have to back out and not get in your face.
See, there's a difference right there. I totally agree. I agree. There's a little... it can go overboard.
Yeah.
But I really do feel like people's feelings do get devalued. And when I say safe space, it's not like, oh, this guy made fun of me because my shoes are untied. I need a safe space so I can, like...
Yeah, that's basically a skin knee.
Yeah.
I mean...
But I'm talking about people who are, like, verbally abused and
No,
mentally...
That's just a jerk. I'm fine with that.
And people, like, who need... that extra bit of, like, compassion in their
But,
lives.
I mean, the thing with the military, I'm off subject, but, like...
But military,
because they're training you to survive, especially at a time of war. They're not training you to play patty cake.
They have to break you down to build you up. I understand that. And that's the thing is you kind of know when you sign up what you're getting into.
Right. But that's, but that said, I mean... yes, people need to be respected. I don't disagree with their mindset, but there's got to be a give and take where a boot to the butt is not going to kill you.
Exactly. I completely agree there, and I also feel like I think the value of feelings should come into play more. But at the same time, I don't think people should be unnecessarily coddled.
That's my point. I mean, it's one thing, if they want to be heard, okay, fine, hear them out, get an understanding, that is fine.
Yeah.
But don't be like, oh, poor baby, where can I get you?
Exactly. They won't develop. They won't develop correctly that way. They'll be reliant. They'll be way too dependent at that point. But
basically, that's enabling.
Yeah, exactly.
In short.
Yeah. So with that, we are going to wrap this up. It's been a year. We probably next time we'll probably meet is right after the new year.
There's one thing I learned about 2020 is I'm making no resolutions. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. I'm just going to hope for the best.
That's kind of how we all are, but that's where we keep the faith. That's where we keep prayer, and that's where we keep some sort of hope, like that Christmas star symbol in the sky. Keep some sort of hope.
Hey, we need it.
But it's been a trying and. Trying year. That's the only word I can use.
Yeah.
So, from Mr. Brennan VC and myself, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas. We want to wish you whatever
Merry Christmas,
holiday you're celebrating. I hope it's
Kwanzaa's
peaceful.
Coming up. Boxing Day in Canada's coming up.
I hope it's peaceful, tranquil. I hope it's loving, compassionate, welcoming, and warm. Safe for everybody out there.
Enjoy some eggnog. Enjoy some hot cocoa.
And from our families to your families. Blessings of Jesus Christ on you all, and blessings just in general on everybody, and hope that 2021 is a better year. Happy New Year to everyone as well.
And for those who are having the first Christmas without that loved one, we are with you.
Yeah.
We know that pain. We know that sorrow. So
you're on our hearts. You're definitely on our hearts. So try. It's okay to hurt. You gotta allow yourself to hurt and be vulnerable. It's all right to do that. So, with that, everyone,
we love you.
Yeah, we love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. A Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, everything like that. So
happy all the above.
Happy all the aboves. Yeah. So take
happy
care.
New Year's and
be safe. We'll see you after the new year. For Mr. Brennan VC, this is Bishop Darren Martell. This has been Bridging the Gap. We'll see you all in 2021.